So good morning. It's I guess day 17 now. So there's a little bakery next door that doesn't open until 8 o'clock. It's about 8:36 right now, or 7:36, excuse me. So we're gonna go out and uncover the bike and I guess get ready to start packing after breakfast. Yeah, a little chilly this morning, and I think it may be a little bit of a wet ride into Prince Rupert. So since I'm out here, I might as well check my tire pressures before I head out. And it looks like the pressure is holding good. These tires haven't lost any air at all the whole trip. All right, well, the front's down 1 pound, so we'll go ahead and put it up. There we go. All right, so I guess back to the room and we'll grab some money and see if we can't head over and, I don't know, grab a coffee and a muffin or something like that before heading out. Try to get out of here probably around 9 o'clock, a little after. Only have about 3 hours to ride today. And another really simple thing, but something larger in choosing to be a good person or not, and choosing to do the right thing, I'll actually clean out the coffee pot, unlike the people who came here before me. Yeah, it's raining already. So this is a breakfast scone, so give it a try. Not bad. Kind of an egg and cheese inside the scone. And this one is a blueberry strudel. There we go. All right, well, that was good, but the gnats were starting to get to me sitting out in front of the cafe. So I guess it's time to go back to the motel here and start packing up, get on the road for my soggy day. Yep, it was time once again to throw the gear on, get some gas, and hit the road for, well, as I said, what was going to be a rainy start to the day. And as the morning went on, well, things didn't get any better. In fact, they got a little worse. It was a shame that the weather was as cloudy and dreary as it was, because Route 16 between Hazelton, where I left that morning, and Terrace, BC, runs along the Seven Sisters Park, which is known for beautiful views of 7 mountain peaks. Unfortunately, on this day, I didn't get too many of those great views. However, as I passed Terrace, the skies did start to lighten up a little bit. Some blue even poked through, and I was able to pull over and get some great shots. rest of the ride into Prince Rupert would be gorgeous. It was like going through a Norwegian fjord. There were mountains on both sides. The road ran right along a river. The end of the day was a magical ride that made up for all of that rain during the first half of the day. When you think about taking a ride to Alaska, well, most people think about the Alakan Highway, the Dalton Highway, and maybe top of the world. Very few think about riding over to Prince Rupert, which was one of the reasons that I wanted to do it. I wanted to see and experience the beauty of the Canadian coastline, but also I wanted to do something that most people don't do on their trips. Now, Prince Rupert is a Canadian coastal town with a population of about 12,000 people. It was named after Prince Rupert of the Rhine, who was an English-German army officer, admiral, scientist, and the first colonial governor of the Hudson Bay Colony. The town of Prince Rupert is nicknamed the City of Rainbows, or as I'm told the locals call it, Rinse and Rupert, because it happens to also be the rainiest city in Canada. I counted myself as very fortunate to have such a nice, clear day as I rode in to Prince Rupert. Now, while its reputation for being very rainy is well-deserved, it's also the gateway to many wilderness areas, such as the Kutsumateen Grizzly Sanctuary that I would be visiting on the very next morning. Well, I made it. I'm here in Prince Rupert. Obviously, I got checked into the hotel a little bit early. And great place. It's the inn on the harbor. And I've also gone by the place where I'm going to be taking the Grizzly Bear Adventure Tour tomorrow. And it's about a 10 to 15 minute walk from here. So that's what I'll do. I'll just get up in the morning and head down there. I got to be there at like 8:30. So again, no big deal. And then we'll head out and do that all day. And then I hear there's a great seafood restaurant down in that area, so maybe that's what I'll do after I'm done. And tonight, I'm told there's a great burger bar right up the street. So I think in 2-3 hours, we'll be heading up there and checking that out. But for now, I'm going to sit out here on the deck and just enjoy the scenery. So after reading for a few hours, I took a walk down to the OV Burger Bar. It's a very nice place and the food was pretty good, although I expected more than 4 slices of fried pickles. But I have to be honest, once I was done, I was pretty full and really didn't need any more. Okay, so the burger was good in there, to say that, and the fried pickles were pretty good. And I'm full. I didn't really need any more food than that. But a couple of things. One, man, the music was loud in there, right? And then 3 other people came, and of course they sat down right at the table next to me, and you could tell they were from New York or something, because they were just loud. They were just laughing, but they were loud. So, so it's going to be nice to get back to the hotel to some peace and quiet. And also, I cannot get over the price of food here in Canada. I mean, of course, if I pay with my credit card, then I get a little bit of a break, you know, because I'm paying in US dollars, but still, man, that was like nearly 30 bucks for a hamburger, $30 Canadian for a hamburger. That's just, that's a lot of money. On the way back, I checked out Herman Melville's Great White Whale, and then I sat down to do a little more reading. For day 18, got up and I had breakfast before walking down for my adventure tour. So I'm up and I am walking down to the harbor to take this tour. Instead of riding the bike down, so I'll just gear up and walk down here. Makes it easier. It's about a 10-minute walk. So anyway, looking forward to this. It should be fun. Although, of course, we have gray skies today, but I hear that's pretty common around here. After arriving at the harbor, I got checked in, and of course we quickly lined up and climbed aboard what was a pretty dang cool catamaran. I wasn't sure what to expect as far as the boat, but this was really nice. Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Being one of the more spry visitors on this tour, I quickly moved to the front of the boat and grabbed a seat with a table.
Everybody, can I get a big wave? Hello, hello. My name is Kaya. I am one tour guide today. I want to welcome you aboard Prince Rupert Adventure Tours. We are so excited that you guys have traveled from all over Canada and all over the world to be with us today.
We headed out into the Pacific Ocean for what would be more than a 3-hour tour. See what I did there? We would be gone for 7 hours. We would start the trip by heading up the coast about 2 hours, and then we would take one of the inlets that bisects the Grizzly Preserve. Even without seeing any wildlife, the coastal views were magnificent. But even before getting to the Grizzly Preserve, we saw our first view of a humpback whale. Before too long, we saw our first black bear, and then I think Sasquatch. As we moved through the preserve, we would come across these beach-like areas. There, the grizzlies would come down and munch on some of the seagrass. They would dig for clams and eat some of the barnacles. So our guides knew, well, we're basically to look for these bears, and some of them they had seen so often, they even had names for them. This bear was peacefully digging for clams as we idled just offshore. And if he had any idea we were there, well, he sure didn't show any sign of it. We were free to move about the ship, find the best vantage point, and take all the pictures we wanted, but there was one rule: no talking. They didn't want the bears to get used to the human presence, and that included hearing human voices. We're looking for whales now. It didn't take too long before we spotted 4 humpback whales in a feeding pattern. They would come up, take about 4 breaths, and then all dive down, working together to catch their prey.
Oh, I heard that one. Wow. Oh, neat. Oh, fantastic. Then they take a bit of a dive, about 8 minutes-ish is usually how long they dive, so they'll be down for. So I won't talk when they come back up, but I'll just tell you things while they're down. So we catalog all the humpback whales in the area. We're able to identify each individual by that beautiful tail fluke. Ranges anywhere from all black to all white. They're all given unique identifying codes, and then we give them nicknames. So it's easy for us to talk about them, easier for us to identify them in the field. So those whales, it's a very good depiction of how different they are. There was 2 what we call X whales, so between 0 and 20% white. 1 Y whale, which is 20 to 80% white, and then 1 Z whale, which is over 80% white. So Morse code and Van Gogh were the 2 darker flukes. The one that was in the middle is called coil, and coil on the left side of its tail fluke has a bunch of, looks like a coil, but they're actually rake marks from a killer whale. So it would have survived a killer whale attack. And then the one that was mostly white tail fluke is wavelet.
After watching the whales dive one more time, well, it was time to head back to the harbor. But along the way, well, the guides brought out some baleen, which is what we would think of as the whale's teeth. As we got closer to the harbor, we got to witness an amazing sight. Literally a dozen or more bald eagles diving for pork fat that was thrown out by our ship. This was pretty incredible to watch these magnificent birds swoop down, grab this pork fat in their talons, and then bring it right to their mouths, all without missing a beat. It was, as I said, pretty incredible. After arriving and disembarking, it was time to eat, and I headed to Smiley's Seafood Cafe for some fish and chips. All right, so it's the morning of day 19 now. I was out here taking the cover off. I got some bird poop here, so I guess that's good luck. So I'll take it that way. I still got to clean it up. I made it out of Prince Rupert, and I stopped here at the junction of 37, which is the Stewart-Casier Highway, and 16. Busy place. I guess it's one of the last gas stops before you head up the highway here. So lots of trucks and things here. A couple of guys here from Pennsylvania who rode up on their trikes. They rode up to Hyder, and now they're headed back home. So I had some lunch here, brunch actually, and now I'm going to head up to Bell 2. I got another probably 2.5 hours to go. So again, I'll get in fairly early and hopefully stay dry. It's a little sprinkly here today, but said overall, so it was a good day getting over here. I'm a little irritated with people today, but I'll get over it, and we'll have a good time getting up there to Bell 2. Yeah, after spending a couple of days with that organized travel group, I think I was ready to get back on the bike and be alone again. Now, don't get me wrong, they were all very nice people, but when you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you have to stand in line to grab a cup of coffee, well, you know, there are reasons that we travel by ourselves and that we travel by motorcycle. On top of that, dealing with all of the big trucks and RVs fighting for their spot at the gas pumps, well, I was ready to get out of there. And if I'm honest, I think this constant, gloomy, wet weather was starting to get to me. Well, I did see a couple of bear along the way that I didn't get on camera. The scenery at this southern end of the Casier Highway was pretty monotonous. Eventually, it was time to stop for fuel at Hazelton Junction. At least I think that's how it's pronounced. And I met this young guy who was traveling up to Alaska on his Royal Enfield Himalayan. So I'm stopped here in Hazelton, or how do you pronounce that? You have anyone? This is Willem, by the way. He's riding from Calgary up. Might go all the way to Dead Horse. He hasn't decided yet. But he's on that little Himalayan over there. So that's doing real well for him. But anyway, I decided to stop here and grab some gas, even though I don't have that much farther to go. I could have easily made it to Bell 2 where I'm going, and they have gas there. But I decided to stop here in case there's some of the other guys who are going up who have smaller gas tanks, right? And you need to stop more often. So this is definitely a place that you should do. You can also fill up at the beginning, 37 and 16 down there, and you should be able to make it here easily. Now, after Bell 2, heading up to Dease Lake, well, that's another story. But we'll find out what's there tomorrow. So after topping off with fuel and finishing my conversation with Willem, I got back on the bike, headed towards Bell 2, and luckily, very slowly, things started to dry up and some blue sky actually started to appear. By the time I arrived at Bell 2, it was actually a nice day, and I could see that there were a number of other motorcyclists in the parking lot. Now, of course, one of those riders turned out to be a viewer who was up here riding with a few of his buddies on his Ducati Multistrada. If you're traveling up to Alaska, you're on the Cassier Highway and you want to treat yourself, well, Bell 2 is the place to do that. So now I'm at Bell 2, which is a ski resort here. So they have all these little lodges here. Excuse me. And I'm back at the Loon Lodge back there, which is extremely nice. I'll show you here in a little bit. But I'm going to head up here now and get some food because their kitchen isn't open today, but they have a cafe up here that's open till like 4:30. So we'll go grab some of that, and maybe they have a nice iced coffee or something like that I can get. So anyway. I had a great grilled cheese sandwich down there. It was really good. The food down there is excellent, I have to say. And the service was really nice as well. Everybody's very pleasant. So this is my room for the night, right? This is the Loon Lodge. There's 2 queen beds in here. And I said it's just a really nice place. There is a fireplace, of course. I'm not going to need that tonight. And then they've got a beautiful bathroom in here as well. So just walk in here. You can see this shower in here I've already used. So really nice bathroom in here. But anyway, great place. It isn't the least expensive place I'm going to stay. That's for sure. It runs $259 Canadian. So that's about $180 US for this. So that's actually not too bad. That's about the price of a, standard Best Western or Comfort Inn, something like that back in most US cities. So getting quite a bit for the money, actually, and a beautiful view and grounds. I had a good night's sleep last night. And, looks like I have a neighbor came in late last night. But they have a breakfast buffet up here, so I'm going to go up here and grab some of that before hitting the road. And as you can see, it is once again very cloudy and it's cool here. So we're not going to be in too much of a hurry to get on the road. We'll just let it warm up a little bit anyway. Maybe get on the road about, 9 o'clock. I've got another 300 miles to go to get to Watson Lake. So that'll, again, put me in pretty early, probably around 3 o'clock, something like that. So that's good. So we'll just go up here, enjoy this breakfast, and I say get ready to get on the road. Great breakfast in there. Everything's nice and fresh. So they do a great job here. You get a really nice view around here. Nice relaxing time. Great room and honestly great food in there as well. So this is something that I would suggest doing if you want to take a night off from trying to camp on your way up here, or you just want to splurge a little bit and treat yourself. Now, he's out on an adventure. He said he's going to Stewart today on his bike. So, you know, we think we're adventurers here on our motorcycles, but that guy's a lot tougher than I am. All right, so I'm all packed up now. I just have to get all this stuff on, and then we're going to go up and gas up. Now, I have probably, I don't know, 7 gallons of gas left, but given that I don't know what the state of the gas stations are going from here, there should be fuel in Dease Lake, but again, I don't know for sure. So I think that is a good way to go when you're traveling this road. Wherever there's gas, stop and fill up. And there is fuel here at Belle 2, although I think it's only 87 octane. So again, bring some octane booster with you just in case you run into those situations. So we'll go do that, and then we'll get on the road. Shortly after leaving Belle 2, I got to cross one of those scary metal bridges that a lot of people are worried about. And the truth is that a lot of it is just in your head. Right? If you slow down a little bit, lighten up on your grip on the handlebars, and just let the bike do its thing, you'll be fine. I even stand up when I go across these things. As you can see from this video, yep, once again, it was overcast and a little bit rainy. I would go in and out of these kind of conditions, well, all the way up just before I made it to Dease Lake. However, I have to say that the scenery north of Belle 2, that is going into Watson Lake, was much nicer than the scenery south of Belle 2. Just prior to reaching Dease Lake, I did run into a little bit of construction. There was probably the equivalent of, I don't know, 2 or 3 miles of dirt and gravel roads. But the Big Tiger handled it just fine, and really anybody on any kind of bike could handle these kinds of roads. Just maybe slow down a little bit. As I pulled into the little convenience store in Dease Lake, I noticed this couple on a Goldwing pulling a trailer. So after I was done fueling up, I went over to talk to them, and we were talking about the gravel that they were going to be facing here in a few minutes, and they were telling me, that's nothing compared to the road going between Toke and Whitehorse. Well, I would find out about that in a couple of days. Made it to Dease Lake. I had to put in about 13 liters of fuel after I got here. It's about 150 miles from Belle 2 to Dease Lake. So if you're coming this way and you don't have that kind of range, well, you need to stop, obviously, before that. So there is fuel back in Tatoga, at the Tatoga Resort, and in Ishkut, just past that. So you could stop and fill up there. It's probably 50 miles short of here, right? So could definitely do that and make it. Now I think I've got another 150 miles or so to go to get to Watson Lake. So again, I don't think there's any gas between here and Watson Lake, so you need to have that kind of range, or you need to carry some fuel with you. Now after Dease Lake, the weather thankfully stayed clear. I got to see some blue sky, and the temperatures got up around 70 degrees. So the ride between Dease Lake and Watson Lake turned out to be a really nice one. Along the way, I did make one stop at the Casier Mountain Jade store to pick up Kathy, well, a little trinket. She likes rocks and things, so she's really pretty easy to buy for. In fact, on this trip, I not only got her some nice raw jade, but I also brought her back a couple of rocks from Lake Superior. They're going to go in her garden collection. After making it to Watson Lake and getting settled, I headed over to the Signpost Forest. Of course, what else would you do in Watson Lake? I'm now in Watson Lake in the Yukon, and I'm at the world famous Signpost Forest. And I brought the old license plate from my Yamaha Super Tenere. I figure that this is a fitting place that it should end up. So there we go. My Yamaha Super Tenere that I bought to ride to Alaska back in 2017. All right, well, its license plate is now permanently affixed to a post in the signpost. What I was trying to say there is that I bought that Super Tenere back in 2015 for the sole purpose of riding it to Alaska, which we did in 2017. So it seemed fitting that the license plate for that bike would end up in the Signpost Forest. And by the way, the new owner of that Tenere, well, he was riding it up to Alaska the same year that I was returning in 2024. So that bike will have been to Alaska twice. The story of Watson Lake is a pretty cool one. You see, back in 1942 when they were building the road, Carl K. Lindley, a 21-year-old soldier, was sent to Watson Lake to recuperate from an injury. Well, he got pretty homesick and asked if he could add his hometown, that was Danville, Illinois, to the local signpost that told everybody how far all of the construction sites were. Well, fortunately, he was given permission, and of course, other soldiers wanted to start adding their hometowns as well. In 1968, the site of this sign was turned into a tourist attraction, and local residents as well as travelers started adding their signs as well. Well, now there are more than 6,000 signs on the property, and it continues to grow. All right, well, that was fun, but I'm getting hungry, so I think we'll just mosey back over here and see if I can find something to eat. So if you're here in Watson Lake and you're looking for something to do, this is the Northern Lights Center right here. And they have kind of a planetarium kind of a thing in there. And they show this cool video about the Northern Lights and talk to you about how they're made and all of this stuff. So it's really a pretty good thing. And you should go in and take a look at it. Like I said, if you're looking for something to do. It's a shame, but this little place here, it used to be a restaurant called Kathy's Place. That was back in 2017. I understand it's been gone for a couple of years now. But yeah, it was a nice restaurant. Had great breakfast there. I went to Andrea's Place, which is a little restaurant right next door to my hotel. They have pretty good food. Coming up in part 5, I ride one of the crappiest roads I've ever been on. I stay at a really nice little bed and breakfast and get some disappointing news.